And welcome to the Business of Showbusiness, hosted by the Personal Managers Association. I'm looking at some very good-looking agents here who I think actually should be on-screen talents, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, so the session is here, guys. I'm busy opening my screen up for gallery, so I want to see who else is here. I see so many people. Good morning. I see you, Richard, Janina, Jonette, welcome. Palisa is here as well. We're letting in more people. Listen, can you guys hear me okay, Lisa? Yes, the thumbs up. Good morning. Excellent. I'm cycling to page 2. I see Nandi, but Nandi, your camera's off. Darius, your camera's off. Tamba, your camera's off. We are with you, so you must be with us. Please switch on your camera for me. We want to see you, want to say good morning. In fact, I'm passing the mic on to you guys as we kick off before I go to the agents, actually, because this session is for you and about you. Tejo, welcome. Let's see who else is here. Abongile, Lelani, Kagiso is online as well. Welcome, Luyolo. Oh, I see Samukelo Mabuza. He's from Active Spaces. Okay, good. Welcome. Now, did you guys hear me? Switch your camera on. It doesn't matter. We want to see you. Even if you're in bed, even if you just woke up, we want to see your face. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Show Business. Listen, if I had a chance to meet one of the top actor agents when I first got into the industry, I would have blown my castle, because one of the hardest things I had in the beginning of my career was getting an agent, right? Who's with me? Just raise your normal hand. Is it hard or easy to get an agent? I want to also hear from people who are outside of Joburg and Cape Town. If you're outside of Joburg and Cape Town, please raise your hand. If you are in PE or Limpopo, or I want to speak to you guys first, actually. So here goes. Here's the first thing. I'm going to introduce the agents in a moment. We'll have Lisa, who's the secretary of the PMA, talk about what the PMA is and how we've actually kind of gotten into this session. But before we do that, we want to know what you want out of this session. So the first people I want to ask is, thank you for raising your hands. You're going to have to switch on your camera. So when I can see your face, then I'll come to you. I want to know in 20 seconds, what do you want out of this session? Quickly, who you are, where you're zooming in from today, and then what you want out of this session, okay? Put your electronic hands up, so it's going to bump you up to the top, and then I'll come to you. As soon as you've got your camera on, I'm going to ask you, Babalo, I can see you, Sukolila, I can see you, but I see your hand is up, but I need to see your cameras on. Let me go to, is it Jeanette? I hope I'm spelled it right. Yes, hi.
Hi, yes, it is Unate. It's a difficult pronunciation. So I am from Pretoria. I'm currently a student at UP. So yes, I just want the ins and outs of the industry going into it next year.
Nice. Welcome. Who's next? Tandiwe, go ahead.
Hey. From Eastern Cape, Molteno. I want to get to know the industry because I'm soon moving to Johannesburg, and I also do act dancing as well. So I want to put the two together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. Let's go to you. Is it Babalo? Did I say it right? Go ahead. Babalo, yes. No, you're on mute. Tell us quickly your name and what you want out of today's session.
Okay, my name is Babalo Jase, and I would love to, one thing that I've been struggling with that I wish to know from today is how you know that this monologue is the right monologue. It has what it takes to win over the agent's attention.
Good. Zinzi, I hope you're paying attention there out there. These are your next superstars, possibly, who are on this call. Thank you. We're going to go to Luto. I'm going to take like 5 more people really quickly, and then we start speaking to our panelists.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lutongo Jana. I'm in Pretoria, a student at TUT. So I'd really like to learn more about how the agency things work, the ins and outs, like your net, like how everything works. Because at this point, I always try to research, but I still don't have like concrete knowledge about it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's see who's next. Tolia, you want to switch your camera on for us? Because we want to see you. If you're not ready, I'm going to the next person. Ryan, go ahead. Ryan Smith.
Hello, I'm Ryan Smith, and I'm a final year drama student at the University of Pretoria. So next stepping into the industry. So I kind of just want a way to soften the blow of the big industry that's awaiting for me.
Wonderful. This session is for you then, Ryan. We're going to cover a lot of that stuff. Quickly, this is to my agents. I'm going to ask you this a little bit later, not right now. You'll tell us a story about kind of your, zero to hero superstars, people that you've watched over the years, how they came in and how they became the stars in your agencies, like I'd love to hear stories about some of your outstanding actors who came in like graduates and who really built amazing careers, because I'm sure everyone here wants to know how they did that. Okay, Ole Matala.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ulubkheng Matala. I'm an actor. And what I'd love to gain from this entire workshop would be learning about the financial aspects to the industry. Hear a lot of talks about monetization and royalties. So I would love to know about that aspect and how we can go about doing so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kaya Dube. Go ahead.
Hello everyone, my name is Kaya, and what I wanted to learn is how do we, because with me personally, I've got an agent already. I've signed with an agency, and I've got my foot in the door. So like in terms of like going for auditions, maybe doing theater as well, and like finding more opportunities from where you're at already. How do we go about doing that, and how do we move forward and find more opportunities? That's one of the big questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kaya. Janina, really quickly, how do you pronounce your surname?
It's Pasadovsky.
Wonderful.
And my name is actually pronounced Janina. Yeah. So I'm Janina Pasadovsky. I'm studying drama at Wits, and I just really want to know more about the industry and more about maybe information that is not well known, maybe about how to go about these things, about getting an agent and what we should possibly know about all that.
Thank you so much. The last three, literally, I'm going to go to Bethan, then Batabile, and then lastly, I will go to Litaho. Go ahead, Bethan.
Hi, I'm Bethan. I'm an honors student doing drama at University of Pretoria. So yeah, next year obviously is the big one, going out into the real world. So yeah, I just want to know tips and tricks and the do's and don'ts and any ideas or stories from people who have gone through the same thing and how they've done it successfully. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, wonderful. Two more people. Batabile is next, I think.
Yes, hi. My name is Batabile. I'm doing my second year in AFDA. And what I'd like to take from this session is advice to give actors and actresses on how to make ourselves more marketable, especially to agents in such a broad industry, and also in terms of choosing the right agents and stuff like that. Just ins and outs on that, and self-tape auditions or physical auditions and all that. Thank you.
Last one, Litaho.
Hi, I'm Letaho. I'm a first-year student in AFDA, and I would like to know more about agencies, the ins and the outs, and in terms of monologues, how do you know that your monologue is good enough for you to proceed?
Lovely. Okay. This is the big welcome then. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. I want you to wave like this because this is your welcome to show business. Welcome to show business. I want everyone to wave, please. Wave with us. I'm paging through. I want to see your camera on. Nice. Welcome. These guys, their cameras are off. What's happening here? Luyolo, Geraldine, Abongile, Abigail. We want your cameras on, please. On, everybody, we want your cameras on. Otherwise, I'm going to tell the administrator to start kicking you off. We came here to be with you, so you must be with us. Orianjan. Right, welcome. Now I'm turning over to the agents. Please, dear Beloved agents, you guys are the most sought after. I can imagine how many emails you get because everyone who's trying to get into the business kind of knows that they need to get through you so that they can get the opportunity to audition. So I'll start with Zinzi, then I'll go to Lisa and go to Althea. Please tell us a little bit about your agency, the name of the company, and how long you guys have been around, and just give me one or two highlights of sort of your big actors under your books that are doing big projects.
All right. So hi, everyone. My name is Zinzi Zungu. I am the owner of Star Quality Management. The business has been around since, I think, 2008, I think. It's been a while. We have represented numerous artists. I mean, you guys will hear during our talks, artists come and go. You guys swap around, go to different agents, but we've had numerous talent on our books, from young kids to adults, to people we've watched grow from young kids into adults in the television industry. So yeah, I don't know if I missed anything. Okay.
That's good. Lisa.
Dumelang, my name is Lisa Modisane. I co-own Legends Actors and Performers Management. We've been going for 15 years. We represent actors for TV productions and films, as well as voice talent and characters for TV commercials. Over the years, we've been blessed to represent a plethora of talents. When we initially started, we went to your AFTRS, we went to your Pretoria Technicon, went to your Wits Drama for the open days, and that's where we were able to visually see the talents perform, and then we would go and approach the talent that we thought would resonate with our agency and the kind of work we do. So it's so exciting to see all of you on this platform and to know that you are studying the right studies to get into our industry, and we're excited to have this conversation today. Some of the talent that I represent that you might recognize, we have Christophe van den Berg from Getrouwd met Rugby. We have Nomsa Buthelezi from Lockdown. We have Latoya McKenna on Generation. So we represent a plethora of talents, all different, all started where you all are right now. So they put in the work, and that's why they are where they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Althea.
Good morning. I'm Althea Greenan. I run Viclectic Artist Management. We're a boutique agency, and we represent professionally trained and experienced performers. That is within the market of film, TV, voice, TV commercials, theatre, and specifically musical theatre. We've been around for about 10 years, and we started off with a very, very young board. I did something very similar to Lisa, and I went to all the institutions and signed a bunch of young artists that I've been very fortunate to grow with over the last almost 11 years. Pre-COVID, we had a lot of talent in a lot of the big musical theatre shows. I have people on Scandal, I have people in Getrouwd met Rugby, I have people on Binneland. I have artists who are currently in the new Netflix series Jiver, Noxolo Dlamini. We represent a diverse board of talent. And I'm so excited to be part of the session because for a very long time, my agency thrived off young, new talent coming into the industry. So I'm super excited for all the questions and knowledge we're going to pass your way today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Lisa, please just tell us a little bit about the PMA, just as Lisa does that intro. If anyone here is a budding agent, please raise your electronic hand. We just want to see who you are. Lisa, please tell us about the PMA.
Okay. I am the secretary of the PMA. So the PMA it stands for Performance Management Association. So we are a group of acting agents that seeks to practice the best industry practices. We also lobby on several levels, and we activists for our performers. We want to make sure that their rights are protected. So the PMA members, they volunteer their time, their skills and services to serve on various committees. You get a voice committee, you get a television committee, a film committee, a theatre committee. So we support and empower each other as agents to improve our professional landscape and to serve our talents and our clients better.
That sounds wonderful, Lisa, because there's been so many things happen in the industry that if all the agents are sort of on the same page, it really makes a big difference. Like one commercial will come and say, oh, okay, we want to pay you 100,000 Rand to do this commercial. And the next one will say, we want to pay you 13.5 thousand Rand. It's almost, and it's similar things. So it's nice when agents can actually play the bad cop for you, Bethan, and sort of run that part of your career. Okay, so just a quick sort of house rules things. Please keep your mic on mute. Welcome. We've sent out an info pack. And if you have not yet received the info pack, please email Lee. Lee is about to, if she hasn't already, she's going to put her email address in the chat and email her, and she will email you the PDF of that info pack. It's got a lot of information, how to do your headshots, what your CV needs to look like, the do's and don'ts of auditions and tax and, becoming that professional. Kaya, I'm sure we're going to get to the conversation about why actors move from one agent to the next, and then we'll hear from the agents why sometimes actors think they need to move, and sometimes there's a disconnect. Interestingly, I think I've been with my agent for almost 20 years now. Something really close to that. But there were times along the journey where I think like, Colin, you're not doing me justice. I'm supposed to be in Hollywood. Why are you wasting my time? And then I kind of make my way back to her. And whether we're winning SAFTAs or tugutugus or whatever it is and big shows, you go through all the ups and downs with your agent. So quickly now to move quickly, guys, you're welcome to please put questions in the chat. In this first hour, we'll sort of read every 30 minutes or so what the questions are in your chat. But for now, let's jump into this topic. We've got a bunch of topics. Lisa, what's the best way for somebody to get onto your books? Because I can imagine, how many people do you have in your books? And so, the demand of how many actors want to be represented by you versus what you can take and what you then look for in terms of taking on new talent.
So we inundated with phone calls and emails, which is really exciting, but approach is very important. So I always say to people, treat this industry as a professional industry because we are a professional industry. So the same way you would go about applying to be a chartered accountant, you would send your resume. So when talent contact us, they can't send a one-liner saying, hi, I want to join. You need to send us a professional resume. That resume will speak to your training. It will speak to the experience that you've had at, like let's hypothetically say you at AFTA. What student films were you in? And then write a profile, a bit about yourself. So it gives me insight into your strengths, your personality traits, what makes you stand out, have you got good comic timing, so that I can ascertain, would you be a good fit for me? So as an agent, what's always important is we try not sign the same type of actors onto our books. Naturally, we don't want people competing internally, so when somebody sends me a CV, sometimes I say to them, unfortunately, I've got too many artists within the 20 to 25 bracket. You look very similar to the talent that I have on my book. So I'm always looking for versatility when I'm signing new talent on.
Wonderful. Yeah, please go for it.
So yes, just to add on to what Lisa has already said, to obviously send your CV and to also send headshots. We need to see what you look like and send a variety of headshots. We don't need to see what you look like in a bikini at the pool. We are looking for professional actors. So I'm not saying that your headshots need to necessarily be professional when you approach us, but we need to see a good picture of what you look like. We don't need to see you in a lot of makeup with a lot of lipstick, because when we put you forward to the client, they want to see you in your most natural state. So a good picture of what you look like is very important. And then if you have any performance work, that is recorded. So ideally, most agents would like to see a show reel, but we also understand the reality of new artists not necessarily having a body of work that they can put forward. So any performance, somebody spoke earlier about how do we choose a good monologue? Can I tell you that even if that monologue is bad, if you're talented, an agent will be able to see that this person is talented. We need to see what kind of performer you are, because we're going to ultimately put you forward to clients. So if you don't have a show reel, it's not the end of the world. You can send a monologue. Obviously, don't send something that's 10 minutes long. Something under 2 minutes, a minute and a half is perfect, because generally as an agent, within the first 10 to 20 seconds, you know if there's something that you like in this performer. Obviously, have a look at the agent's website, because the agent's website will often indicate how to approach us. So I'd often get emails saying, "Hi, how do I? What information do you need?" When it says in big letters on my website, send your CV, send your headshots, send a show reel, any sort of performance work. So have a look at the agent's website that you are interested in and see what information that they require. If it's not there, obviously give them a call and ask what is required. But it would be the CV, really good pictures of yourself, and then any show reel or performance work you have done.
Thank you. Zinzi, you've got an office in other provinces as well. Tell us how you take on actors.
Right, so we are Joburg based and we have an office in KZN as well. So it would work literally the same way as everyone else has been saying. The process is exactly the same. Number one, as Lisa said, approach is everything. Not hi and then keep quiet and then expect the agent to kind of continue a conversation. Pet peeve for me, number one. Be direct, get straight to the point about what it is that you are looking for. As Althea has also said, have your bio or your CV. Obviously, a lot of you are coming from school, so you might not have a plethora of things that you've done. But, if you've done student film, perhaps, or you've done some theatre at school, put that on your CV as well. I prefer for you to attach a self-tape if you have. Pick something of your choice, as Althea said, like 1 minute, 2 minute, put that on the email as well, just so we have an understanding of like what your performance level is, because just because obviously you've all studied, it doesn't all mean that you're at the same level. So it's nice for us to kind of have an idea, just to see exactly where you all are. You send through the email, or some people obviously will contact the office and give us a call, and we'll give you exactly the same information as Alfie has said. It's all on the website. Normally, they will explain to you exactly what we're looking for. From there, as Lisa said, depending on what we are looking for, the gap that we need to fill, we'll then contact the artist. The artist will come into the office. Coming into the office as well, let's remember that a lot of artists will come in looking like an artist. So let's remember that when you're going to an agent, let's be presentable as well, because you are selling yourself. You are the business, number one. So don't forget that. When you come to see an agent, have your makeup done, have your hair done, look presentable at the end of the day. We'll have a chat, kind of just take you through the industry, how we operate. And then, Bob's your uncle. We'll take it from there.
Wonderful. So to all the agents, do you guys still go to universities to watch sort of end of year plays? I know we're in COVID now, so it's a really weird time. But generally, do you guys do that? And do you accept it if students email you and say, "Hey, please come watch my end of the year theater piece" or whatever?
Okay, I'll speak first since my mic is still on. Yes, I think before COVID, we would go watch quite a lot of plays. We get a lot of emails from students as well, just generally, who will send through their bios and their CVs. And like I said, especially because of COVID now, I think it's important to have a self-tape that you can send through, because obviously we don't have the opportunity to go to schools as much as we used to. So for me, I think it's better to just have something, pick a good piece, shoot it well, and then send that through. But yeah, we're always looking at new young talent, depending obviously on what's missing.
Lisa, Althea?
Yes. So the universities and colleges would invite the agents to come to the end of year performances. I was quite impressed with how creative a lot of the institutions were last year, working around COVID and, sending information to agents with pre-recorded auditions. So yes, between the universities, they would generally get in touch with us and invite us to their end of year functions. And every agent goes in with an approach of looking for what their board needs. So if I have very little young white Afrikaans boys, I'm going to go in and say, this is the part of my agency I need to really, really build. So that is what I'm looking for. And not saying that I'm not open to a category that's maybe full. Sometimes I see someone and I think this person is exceptional and I'm willing to take them on. But between the institutions getting in touch with us and the students getting in touch with us, I've noticed that like Zinzi was speaking about adding in a self-tape, that is becoming more of a common occurrence. So just to advise all of you young performers that there's nothing wrong with sending a self-tape to an agent. It's actually quite highly recommended, and you'll probably be asked for one.
Thank you. Lisa.
Yes, Legend still does frequent the open days that are hosted by the universities. We love them. Our agency is built on fresh talents, and we love getting new fresh talents in. So between the packs that we get from the universities, and then, please God, from next year, we'll start seeing those open days happen again. And just to reiterate what my colleagues have said, sending through a link of work that you have done, even if it's work that you've done within the institution, or a self-tape of yourself, is key. It gives us insight into what your capabilities are and what your performance strengths are, and that's really awesome.
Wonderful. It was nice to see Leilani here on the other page. She's with a friend, Leilani Green. For those who have not switched on their cameras, listen, this clock is running just now. Just now you get kicked out of a meeting, you think it's a tech problem, and it's no. We said, yeah. Okay, so that's just a quick recap. Lungelo, switch on your camera. Spongile, switch on your camera. I want to see you guys, because I'm going to switch over to you just now. So just a quick recap. In these days, do your tape and do an intro. Hey, this is who I am, this is who I grew up, blah, blah, blah. Put it there. And then shoot 2 or 3 pieces, right? Because Zinzi said at least one piece. I would suggest to show range where you play a different character completely. That way, in 2.5 minutes, that agent has seen what you're able to do. Because in 30 seconds, you had an intro of who you are. We saw your height. We saw what your body looks like. Turn left, turn right. It's, just those basics. And then you cut into scene 1. There you're playing a particular character, whatever. That scene goes on for maybe 45 seconds. Another scene, it's a minute. And there you are. That's your range. The agents have at least begun to see what you look like. Just a quick one, guys. We have a survey that Lee will she'll put a link into the chat box. We'd please love for you to fill in that survey. Please drop your questions into that chat box, and we'll take those questions. And also we'll be coming over to you to ask or comment or whatever it is. So just in the first instance, agents, if somebody does not yet live in Joburg or Cape Town, since you have an office in Durban, what suggestions or advice do you have for them to get in? And part 2 of my question will be then, what do you expect from an actor? So that's my first question. The second one is, let's say you do all this effort to sign an actor on, and then they drop the ball or they don't do what you expect. What is that expectation that you have? When you're saying, I'm taking you on, what are you expecting the actor to now start to do and be committed to doing? Althea or Lisa?
Sorry, I thought Zinzi was going to speak about being out of town.
We'll do both of those, yeah.
Okay, I'll leave that part to Zinzi. I think the most important thing is clear and open and honest communication between artist and agent. Ultimately, an agent's responsibility is trying to get you in front of as many clients as possible, right? To get you an audition. We cannot get you the work. Let me be clear. We can try and get you the audition. Okay. So I think it is so critical that there's always an open and honest communication. If you are going through something, if you are not able to deliver because of whatever's going on in your life, you have to communicate this to your agent. If you say, I'm going to the audition and I get a call from the casting director and you're not there, it puts me and my agency in a bad light. So if you're running late, we live in Gauteng, we know the realities of accidents on the road and traffic and all of that. You have to communicate with your agent. If you have dropped the ball, in whatever way it may be, it comes back to speaking to your agent. And that's why I opened with that line. You know, we are all human beings at the end of the day. This is a professional business, but we're human beings and we get that things happen. You just have to be upfront with your agent about it. And often we'll find that it's something that can be sorted out and worked through, but only if you're going to be honest. Don't try and lie to your agent, because we're going to find out if you're lying. And ultimately, it just affects the trust between the partnership. It's a partnership between you and your agent. So it's very important that there is clear and open and honest communication so that you can find a way of moving forward to ultimately get you work. I mean, that is the ultimate goal between agent and artist, is to get the actor on set, get the actor in a theater, get the actor in the voice studio. So anything that contributes to that end goal, there needs to be clear communication about that between you and your agent.
That's so powerful. Lisa, I'm coming to you. Did you guys get that? Like, the end goal is you need to get paid, but paid for acting and playing a character, because there's companies, production companies, producers, shows that probably are looking for Yanina or Reversant, or they're looking for Richard. They're looking for someone like you to play that role. And like Althea is saying, the ultimate goal is for you to get you in the room. But like she said, she can't get you the job. You do that bit, right? So, and we're going to get into the do's and don'ts of auditions right now. I mean, a lot of you guys are being trained as actors, or you're almost finished. Lisa, so any of those two questions, what you expect from an actor the moment you sign them on, or any advice for the out-of-town actor?
We don't represent out-of-town actors just because the work that we get is mainly based in Johannesburg and sometimes Cape Town. We do, however, have talent that have a Cape Town representative, or now that there are agencies that are in Durban who have Durban representatives. And that's why communication is key. Because if you have more than one agent and the casting brief happens to be in both Johannesburg and Cape Town, it's important to be honest and transparent with your agents and say, my Cape Town agent has already put me forward. Another element that's also key in communicating with your agent is there's numerous times actors say to me, Lisa, you're sending me for the same roles. So feedback and that open line of communication is so key to say, I am capable of playing other roles. Please don't typecast me continuously as a gangster. And that's why the relationship between agent and artist is so, so important. You can't see us as your boss. It's a mutual relationship. So we're in this partnership, as Althea correctly said, together. Once your agent signs you on, you can't just disappear and expect your agent to phone you. Feel free to communicate with the agent every 2 weeks and just say, touching in, because you're also learning about the industry, especially if you're fresh in the industry. You want to kind of get what is the rhythm of the industry. I know that come July, August, sometimes it's summer holidays, our industry hits a dip. So you start to learn the patterns of our industry. And then you also start to understand why certain actors who are also represented by the same agent as you, or friends of yours that you went to varsity with, are going for certain roles, and perhaps why you were not selected. I like what Althea said earlier. Send us a variety of pictures. And once you signed on with your agent, those variety of pictures play such an important role, because remember, we suggest you to a casting director. The casting director will then select from your resume and the image that has been sent, according to whether they feel that that's the right fit of who they want to see for that particular role. So that's why that versatility in pictures, that versatility in the self-tape is so, so key, because it allows us insight into seeing what we can put you forward for. Another important element to remember with your agent is that we don't have favorites. This is a business to us too. We would like to see each and every person on our books working. So we don't sign people on for the sake of signing them on. We're not trying to fill up our boards for the sake of it. We sign you on because we believe that you have a capability and this beautiful magic that you're going to set a satellite, be it on stage, be it in front of a microphone, be it in front of a production camera. So please don't think we have favorites. When you see the same people working over and over again, we are not in control of who works. However, when briefs come in, we want to make sure that you're top of mind. To be top of mind, keep that relationship, that communication. If you've gone for a specific workshop, share that feedback with us so that we update your resume. Once you come off a production, immediately update your resume. Send it back to your agent. Say, I've updated my resume. I just came off my Netflix production being Jiva, and I just thought I'd add that in. Oh, by the way, I did a voice workshop through Saga. It was fantastic. I would like to do more voice work. What can I do? Who are the reputable people or institutions that I can go and do workshops for? So always seek to improve, seek to communicate with your agent, and be transparent about what's going on in your personal life, because it plays a role in the relationship that we have with you as our talent.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Just a quick one. I saw a question saying, how do you format a CV? My quick answer there is go on any of these websites and look up talents that you admire, and you'll be able to see, like, they'll have a CV there. Like my agency, for example, and other ones, they'll have a CV next to each actor, and that's the format you can use. And if you want to see an example of headshots, go on to those websites and you'll see headshots, and you'll see which ones are good and which ones are and so that's your example. So if you go onto the PMA's website, you'll see, correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, a list of all the PMA members. Yes. And in my view, those are the top agents in the country. You know what? I get this all the time, those DMs, in the high and quiet. And then I want to be an actor. And then, then I get this question a lot. I need an audition. Help me. I always send the PMA website. I'm like, there, I think there's 20 or 25 members or something like that. Those are the top agents in my view in the country. But at least in terms of professionalism, those agents, correct me if I'm wrong, will not ask you for a joining fee. They won't say, pay $2,500 to join my agency. So because sometimes people are getting those kind of things out there. They're like, and sometimes the background actor agency or extras agencies, those are the kind of things they get. I mean, even as I'm touching on some of that stuff, when I struggled to get an agent, I actually started working as a background actor. And for me, because I didn't have the 3-year degree, so that was the other difficult thing for me. So I was like, I needed to learn as much as I could. And guess what? Every time I was on set, even as a background actor, I was learning a lot. I was watching those lead actors like a hawk. Everything they did, everything the first AD said, because there's certain things you learn at school and some things just on a film set that's much bigger than what you ever imagined, you only learn once you're on that movie set. So I watch how they ask for water, what they do at lunch, how they prep, what the AD says. I watch everything. And so sometimes, you know, for me, that's not a bad thing. Okay, Zinzi, let's go to you.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, it's having an understanding also of what an agent is. I think there's a lot of confusion with people when they go to agents and the expectation of what they want us to deliver. As Althea said, we get briefs from clients, we send you for those jobs, we negotiate contracts. There's a lot of work that we do. However, I'm not your publicist. I'm not going to get you on magazines. I'm not going to get you radio and TV interviews. And I think there are a lot of people who are like, well, my career started, but like, why haven't you, I'm not on the cover of, I'm not on, that's not my job. Then you might want to get yourself a publicist. So have a very clear understanding and know what your expectations are in terms of that. Number two, I saw somebody say on the chat that they applied with the agency and we said we're not taking people on. Now, I get this a lot where we get DMs, people will write on our pages and everything else. We've said this before. The issue is people have an expectation that just because, if let's say I'll say, oh, I've just welcomed Sisanda to the agency, but you said you're not taking anyone on. Yes, I'm not taking specific people on because I was looking for a specific look. I was looking for a specific age, right? So just because you've applied, it doesn't always obviously mean that you are going to be accepted. There are numerous agents, as Sisanda said. You can go onto the PMA website. If one person says no, try the next person because it might be the right fit for you. Keep knocking on doors because you'll find one person will apply with one agency, 100 times. Literally every single month, this one person is applying. And in my head, I'm like, go look elsewhere, because obviously that means that we are not looking for you specifically. It doesn't mean that I'm saying you're not talented. It doesn't mean that I'm saying you look horrible or whatever the case may be. You're just not the right fit for us at that specific moment. But if you're passionate and you really want to do this thing, keep knocking on all those doors, because eventually somebody will open a door and say, oh, you know what? I was looking for somebody just like you. The industry is very cutthroat, guys. So you're going to get no's, you're going to get rejections, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen starting from the agencies, right? So when you apply with somebody, you're going to get that no. It doesn't mean, once again, like I'm saying to you, that you're not a talented person. And start accepting and understanding that rejection now, that it's not a reflection on you, but keep trying. Because you find a lot of people will be like, yeah, but I really wanted to, and my heart is broken. Your heart's going to get broken a lot in this industry, by a lot of different people. So don't take a no as I'm a failure or my life is over. It just means that you need to keep knocking on different doors. What else did I want to say? I think with technology right now, if you are in Durban, right, or you're in Cape Town and you have plans on moving to Johannesburg, right, for instance, you can apply with any agency, so long as you have plans on moving to be based in that specific place. Because you get a lot of people who will be like, yeah, I'm based in Durban. If there's work in Durban, as obviously like we have decided in Durban because the industry is growing in Durban. So therefore, there are a couple of shows that will look for continuous work, etc., etc. And then obviously the person will say to me, but I'm willing to travel to Johannesburg. So with self-tapes right now, a lot of the times we'll get clients who will say, just send me a self-tape. And I know that you have the capability to travel to Johannesburg, so I can accept your self-tape. I've met you before, I know your work. So if you're based in Durban and you have the means to travel to Johannesburg for work, by all means, do it, I get, there's artists that are based in Cape Town who will travel down to Johannesburg during different seasons, etc., etc. I don't think, obviously, if you're based in somewhere really, really far, you can't expect, to apply to an agency based in Joburg if you have no means to get yourself there. But I think with technology and with, the fact that we're using self-tapes a lot, there are a lot of more opportunities that are opening up to artists. So yeah, that's something to think about as well. What else? I think that's it.
How are you finding your next point, Zinzi? And going to go to you quickly, Althea. We've also found, because sometimes you're going to audition for something in London or something in New York or Los Angeles or whatever it is, right? So you're going to do your callback on Zoom. Mm-hmm. There were times when they'll fly you over for the callback, but these days it's kind of, they like to take less risk. And sometimes, an actor will only meet people on their first day on set or whatever it is. So I don't know if you guys agree or not, but you could audition through your self-tape. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in the village there with your grandmother, but you've got good internet for the Zoom call, but for the tape, you can send it in. Now, when they say, okay, they need you to go to Joburg for the third callback, or Cape Town or New York or whatever it is, between you and the agency and the production house, you'll figure out a way for you to get to that place. Either you might risk and pay for it, or the production might want to pay and bring you in. Althea, you had something?
Yes. So I just wanted to add on to something that Zinzi said. I think it's so important, seeing that we are dealing with a lot of new people to the industry here. It's so important that you understand what we do as agents, because there's been so many times that I've experienced a complete misconception. So it's very important that you guys understand we are facilitators. So a casting director will come to us and say, I'm looking for a black guy, 25 to 35. Here's the character breakdown. This is what the character does in the 13-part series on ETV. And as an agent, we then look at what we have on our board. We look at our talent in that category. We put the resume with their headshot forward to the casting director, and they will then select who they want to see. So you get an open audition and you get a request audition. Request audition is when they have a look at the CVs and they decide, I want to see Sisanda Hena for this specific role. Here's his time, here's his script, here's all the information, right? You go, you do the audition. If you get a call back, they send through the information. We then give you the callback information, and then they will decide who they want. Should they decide to confirm you, they then let the agent know, and we will then negotiate your deal. We'll negotiate your financial deal. We will ensure that you have the correct working terms and conditions in your contract, and we will discuss this with you. An agent doesn't have the right to make a decision on your behalf without discussing it with you. So if I feel that my actor should be getting 5,000 Rand for the day, but the production comes back to me and says, we only have 3,000. We are not paying you anymore. This is the fee, take it or leave it. We have to then discuss that with you and say, I think you should be getting X. This is what they've offered. Let's have a discussion. How do you feel about it? So it's very important that you understand that ultimately we facilitate on your behalf. We have to ensure that the contract has the correct terms and conditions in and discuss it with you. Because ultimately, I'm not the one going to set. I'm not the one working the 10-hour day or the 12-hour day. It's you. So it's important that you understand the information that we're facilitating on your behalf, because you are the one that's going to set. So it's very important that you understand what it is that your agent actually does. Like Zinzi says, we're not a publicist. It's so important for me that people understand we cannot get you the work, because I've heard this so many times where actors say, I want to come to you, Althea, because my previous agent, she's not getting me work. And I'm like, who's your agent? Because if that agent can get you work, sure, I need to learn from her, because that's not our jobs. We cannot get you the work. So it's important that you understand, ultimately, you are the performer. You are the one walking in the room. You're the one doing the audition. You're the one doing the work, not the agent. We are just here to facilitate the opportunity for you, and be your support for you. Who's going to support? You're the one who's supposed to get the job, not the agent. So I just had to add that on, because I've had that experience so many times over the years. And I think it's very important when you're young and you're new and you're coming into the industry, that you understand what it is that your agent offers, what the service is that they offer.
Wonderful. Lisa.
Just going back to how to ensure that you sign up with a reputable agent. There's different associations that you get. So there's Modeling Association, which is the National Association of Modeling Agencies, NAMA. Then you get the Performance Management Association, which we belong to, and that this platform is being hosted on. And then you get SAPAMA. Those are reputable agencies. There's no boundaries to enter this industry. So you do get agents who are chance takers, who don't know the rules of the industry, that make people sign on 2,500. Some of them run courses, and then freelancers believe that, well, I've paid 2,500, I'm bound to get work. Or I've done this presenting course. They had somebody, Habi Malloy hypothetically, who came in and facilitated. It doesn't give you any guarantees. So try by all means to go onto the various association websites, then select a few agents, go onto their websites, have a look at the caliber of talent that they represent. If you're a theatre actor and you go onto hypothetically Legends website, we don't represent theatre actors. So when you go onto our website, you'll see that we don't. But if you go onto the Eclectic's website, you'll see, oh, they have theatre actors. So that's where you should be sending your CV, to the agents that do the work that you're hoping to go into. So if you're looking to get into theatre work, look for the agents on the PMA website or on SAPAMA's website, and then apply with them. I don't think there's anything else that needed to be added with regards to what Zinzi and Althea said. I think they kind of wrapped it up quite nicely in terms of the do's and don'ts and what our capabilities are as agents, that we only able to facilitate opportunities and help you ensure that you're signing the right contract and help explain elements of that contract to you.
Yeah, I want to add to that, Lisa. So real quick, everybody, We're going to come to you. I'll take like 15 questions, but your question's going to be really quick. We're not going to do it right now in a few minutes. So get your question ready. If you put your electronic hand up, then we'll come to you. So there are a few things, Althea, Zinzi. People are, there was a question in the chat box about getting multiple agents. My understanding is if your agent doesn't have the same jurisdiction, like I can get an agent that does my New York theater, just making an example, right? And then I can get my screen agent in LA. That doesn't conflict with my agent in South Africa. Because if I don't need an agent in Cape Town, quote unquote, because sometimes the Cape Town casting director will reach out to a Joburg agent if they want Joburg-based actors. But if you want to base yourself in both places, then so, and quickly just to touch on, somebody was talking about the word freelance. Look, everyone is a freelance actor. Freelance means you do a project. So you're not employed by an agency. Yes, sometimes for like business things and applying for things at the bank or whatever, then you need like a letter from the agent that shows how much money you've earned in the last financial year or things like that. But you always a freelancer, even if you have a SOAPI contract, that's like 3 years or a year at a time. Those are the things. So Lee, are you there? Are you able to read some questions for us in the chat box that haven't been asked just yet? So Lee, if you're getting ready, I'm going to go to Carrick Keaton. Unmute yourself, Carrick, and go ahead. What's your question?
Hi, everybody. I understand that the entertainment industry is one that's constantly shifting. So I just wanted to know if agents nowadays are looking for actors who are a bit more diverse and that they can maybe direct and they have experience behind the camera, or is it purely just looking for actors nowadays? Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Next, Patricia.
Hi. I wanted to ask if you probably have multiple agencies and then you book, you get a gig yourself. Must the agency represent you? Are they liable to take some commission from the work that you found yourself? And if you have multiple agencies, which one do you choose to represent you for that particular gig?
Very good question. Patricia, Aaron.
Hi, I have a question regarding social media. So if you have a YouTube channel or you are working on your social media, how do you brand yourself to show that you're an artist and also yourself?
Okay, I want to understand that question. What do you mean by brand yourself as an artist versus yourself?
So you are showing your craft on your social media, whether it is performances or your YouTube channel, and just like showing yourself in terms of your personality so that when people look at your social media, they can see the artist and yourself, like your personality.
So what's your question there?
How do we use our social media to brand ourselves?
Okay, good. Got it. Ryan.
Hello. In terms of show reels and performance work, does it matter if all the work that I've compiled has been recorded on a cell phone? Because I understand that other actors may have professionally recorded beautiful things, but all I have is my cell phone. Does that necessarily matter? Does it work in my favor or against me?
Thank you, Ryan. Good question. Cool. So we have a couple of questions. Agents, this is over to you to answer these questions. Then Lee, the coordinator of this project, she'll read a couple from the chat box. So just to recap, Althea, Lisa, Zinzi, the first question was, if I do work behind the camera as well, is that okay or not? That was from Carrick. And the next one, I book my own job. Do I give it to my agent to represent me? How much commission should the agency take? And which agent, if I have multiple, should be taking the commission?
Okay, I'll take a few. So the first question regarding if I have diversity in terms of being a director and stuff. Obviously, most agents are looking for actors. We're not looking for directors and producers, etc., etc. However, at the same time, I don't think that as an actor, knowing directing is a bad thing, because that means you have an understanding of various and numerous ways in the industry. I also think that as an actor, you should have numerous talents and other things to perhaps help sustain yourself in moments where you're not working. having numerous talents or other skills is never a bad thing. You'll all graduate, you'll find in your class of 20, maybe 5 of you will only work. So during that period, while you're still trying to find yourself, yeah, of course, go ahead, be a director if you've studied to be a director or a producer. I don't think having an extra skill is ever a bad thing as an actor. But as an agent, I'm definitely not looking to sign a producer, director. I don't think having that on your CV is necessarily going to make me think, ooh, that's the guy I want. But like I said, I think it's a great skill to have. I think as an actor, have as many diverse skills as you can, because the industry is tough and you might find yourself having to work in different spaces. So definitely go for that. And then the question about multiple agencies, I think let's be clear about something. So as Sisanda had said, if you have an agent in New York and as opposed to South Africa, I think that's what we're talking about here. Now, having multiple agencies, as in you're signed with Legends, you're signed with Star Quality, that we don't do in the PMA. You cannot be represented by numerous agencies. I think that causes conflict. I think that just as an actor, I think that just says a lot about you. So that is something that we don't do. If you sign, my philosophy with us is if you find work yourself, that decision is up to you. You can come to me as your agent and say, look, somebody approached me. This is the job that I've gotten. We can sit down, we can discuss, and I would like to help you facilitate, because there are certain things in terms of contracts, in terms of rates that you may not know that I'll be able to assist you with. Also, once you get into the production, just having that person who's going to communicate should there be issues on set. You don't want to be the actor having to go fight your own battles. That's what we're here for, in terms of if there's problems on set, etc. So that's the benefit of having an agent to facilitate that relationship for you. You then can have a discussion with your agent as to the commission structure if you bring the work. That's how I feel. But obviously, I'm not gonna do it for 5% because there's work that's going to be done there. But that's a conversation, obviously, that you would have with your specific agency. The social media one. I think, let me try and understand. I was a bit confused about the question, but I'm going to try understand it. I do think social media has become a big part of being an actor or an actress. A lot of the times you'll see people will go to your page perhaps and have a look at some of the things that you've posted there. There is obviously the question of followers that pops up every now and again. Some productions will query how many followers do you have as an actor once you're more established. But I think that it's important to establish yourself and make sure that your brand is clear if you're going to have a page as an actor. So put your self-tapes there, put anything that you're doing there, so that if somebody is looking and we kind of go have a look, once you're still starting out, you can be very clear and establish yourself as what kind of talent you are. So if you're a comedic actor, if you're a dramatic actor, put your self-tapes up there. You and only you can establish who you are, and people will then have an understanding of that. I think I covered. I don't know if there was another one. No. I'll pass it on to the other ladies.
Okay, we'll come. There's the one about the show reel, but I don't know if Lisa or Althea, do you want to touch on any of these that have been asked so far? Listen, if I just, as you guys might there, from an actor's perspective, I've always, at one point I decided probably 12 years ago, I was like, I want every job I want my agent to take care of. Every single one. For everything, like whether the client is paying on time or hasn't paid, if anything has gone wrong, they represent you. Like the other part of this show business is that contract. And for the lifespan of that contract. You know, when I was much younger, Zinzi, I'm coming to you, right in the beginning, I got signed to do MTN commercials, and they were like, it was a big campaign, and they had billboards up at the airport and, you know, all over the country. I mean, they had my face on airtime cards. Remember when we used to scratch to get your airtime voucher? And then it was supposed to go on for, I think, a year, and then they were supposed to renew every year. Now it's 2 years later, one of those billboards is up somewhere, and we're supposed to get paid if they do that. Now, how do I know who to email and ask for money? Or to you know what I mean? Like, that's what your agent will do for you. That's the kind of thing. So it's a safety net if you then do it with your agent. But like Zinzi is saying, it's a conversation with your agency. So then in terms of, okay, how much commission is it okay between the two of you? Because that's the partnership. As much work. So you guys discuss and they say, okay, this commission is fair. I'll do this and I'll look after this job for you. Like, for example, SABC would pay repeat fees, right? At some point, I'd be like, I'd have to ask my agent, how can we get these repeat fees, or can you help me with that? And, they would help me, to get that process going. So there's so many other benefits when your agent does look after all of that stuff for you. And also you come across more professional. And the last thing you want as an actor, you're busy there prepping for your next scene, and they come with like some admin thing that you need to do, whether they need your tax number or like you need to sign. And I'm like, dude, no, I need to work now. Like, go, do that. I'm here to act. Email that to my agent or whatever. So those are some, for me, that really helped. It helps as a professional actor because I don't have to worry about that. Althea, Lisa?
Sorry, can I say one quick thing? I just wanted to give you guys an example of the benefits of obviously having your agent facilitate your contracts. You get a lot of open castings that happen, correct? Where they'll be looking for new talent, and everyone who's new in the industry will obviously apply and send in through their audition tapes. And I have a few kids who are on a specific show who went through the open audition process, who didn't have an agency, who signed contracts as leads and support leads where they're earning 1,000 Rand, where they're earning 700 Rand. Now, if you don't know anything and you just want to get your foot into the industry, obviously you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe that's what the standard rates are. And obviously when they came with their contracts, I was flabbergasted that this is the money that they're earning. So this is why it's important to have somebody who has an understanding of what the rates are to be.
Well, I think we've lost Zinzi there. Althea, do you want to go ahead?
Help you facilitate your contract, because the people are earning rates that are shocking out there.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Althea, Lisa?
Cool. So just to add more to the first question about having extra skills, not a problem for me personally, as long as acting is still your number one priority. Go direct. I have a lot of artists who are directors, script writers, producers, and that's fantastic because I think it also benefits your skill as a performer to understand the writing process, to understand the directing process. So as long as it can work in conjunction with your performing career, it's not a problem. It's not a factor for me when I decide on signing an artist, because I'm signing you based on, if I think you are a great actor. And then regarding the multiple agent question and getting your own work, definitely not multiple agents in the same city. And I can tell you now, if you sign with 3 different agents, we are going to find out because we get the same brief. So we're going to put you forward, and then the casting director is going to say, but Lisa put you for this person forward, and Alfie and Zinzi. So it's happened. So don't even try it, because we are going to find out. However, regarding being in a different city, Durban, Cape Town, or overseas, the agent who's in the city that you're based in. And then there are agents who would prefer for you to do all your work through them, and I think there's been enough information shared here regarding the benefit of putting all your work through them. As an up-and-coming artist, you don't have contract knowledge yet, and even if you take that contract to a lawyer, if that lawyer is not industry savvy, they're not going to know what is needed to what needs to be in that contract. So one of the beauties about the PMA is that we are a collective of agents who work together with the relevant associations regarding contracts. I'll give you a simple example. The PMA and SAGA represents professional actors, will have a conversation with the IPO, who's the Independent Producers Organization, regarding a contract for TV series regarding a specific contract, and we negotiate those terms and conditions, and we go back and forth, and eventually we have a contract we are happy to use. Should we do an Mnet production or should we do an ETV production, right? So your agent has an understanding of what is required in that contract. So you can get yourself into some serious trouble signing a contract that you don't understand. And then if you come to me with that contract after you signed it, it's almost impossible for me to fix it, because you agreed to that contract already. So what the policy I have with my artists is that I have to know about all the work that you do. If you are approached directly, obviously the more established you are, it does happen sometimes that artists get approached directly. So I have a policy with my actors, you have to inform me about it. And let's have a conversation, if this is something you do on your own or why you need to do it through the agency. And then regarding the showreel recording on phones, I think when you are approaching an agent, right, you're obviously coming in new. The only work you've got behind you is the work you've done at university. I personally won't have an issue with it because I'm just trying to see, is there something there? Is there a talent there? Obviously, as you start working in the industry and you start gaining professional experience, you can then build a professional showreel that has all your professional work. But when it comes to just approaching an agent and you're just trying to get in, it doesn't have to be a professional CV, because all I'm trying to see is, does this person have what I'm looking for? What else is there? Social media and branding. Oh, this is such a huge conversation. I'm going to try and condense this very quickly. You can have your private social media, that's you in your personal capacity, or you have a page that is about, Sisanda the actor. I think the most important thing is to keep your social media clean. Keep it clean, guys, because producers do go look at what do you present to the public of yourself. So obviously what matters is what you do in that audition room and the talent. I always say to my artists, the talent is so much more important than having an amazing brand on social media. You can have this amazing brand, client can then ask to see you, you walk into the room and you do a terrible performance because you haven't practiced your American accent in a year, yet here you are doing an American audition. So for me, obviously what you do in the room is the most important thing, but your social media does play a part. And I think the important thing is to keep it clean and tidy to keep it clean and tidy. Because if you're doing an ad, so for example, let's say you go for a commercial audition, that commercial client might want to see what your social media looks like, because you are going to be the face of their brand in this specific advertising campaign. I think that's it. Lisa, you want to add
from my end? Yes, thank you, Althea. Multiple agencies, as Althea and Zinzi said, PMA, you can't have multiple agencies in the same city. However, if you have another agent in another city, that is fine. That's why communication is clear. Earlier on, when the young lady who asked the question, you don't join an agency just to get a booking and then think that you're going to leave them. So hypothetically, you join them and then you're on Generations and then you think after a year, I'm going to just do this direct. Value. A relationship has to have value. You have to be in it for the long haul. Granted, sometimes you sign up with an agent and it may not work out, and you'll have an honest conversation saying, I've been with you for a year. I'm frustrated. I know you've been putting me forward for various roles. Can you guide me to another agent? Maybe that would be a better suit. And it's happened with me where an actor's been on my books for 5 years. The first 3 years, things were going great. Then we got stuck. I'd phone a fellow agent in the PMA and I'd say to them, listen, I've got this actress. She's very good. This is her resume. Would you be perhaps interested in seeing this artist and signing them on? And they've gone on to the new agent and done extremely well. I still have a relationship where we can catch up for coffee and tea. I just wasn't the right agent after a certain period for that person. So it's so important that when you join an agent, seek the value and know that they also in a beneficial relationship with you. So you can't be there thinking they're just going to get you a casting and then you're going to walk away with the booking after a certain period. That's not good. You can always negotiate commission if you get the job direct. Zinzi spoke about that. And I think there's so much agents do. So when an agent takes commission, there's a lot of work that they're doing when you're on sets that you're not aware of. We have various instances where production houses don't pay or don't pay on time. And we get together as PMA agents and we're writing letters, we get onto phones, we go to meetings, we put pressure on together collectively so that we can ensure that the talent are going to get paid. As an agent, we know what the industry, as a new actor in the industry, what your rate should be. So don't get carried away. Don't get excited from the open auditions, getting a contract and thinking, great, I just want to sign, I just want to get this wrong. Go sit down with your agent, go through it. You are going to be so much happier and everything's going to run so much smoother having an agent represent you opposed to doing the work direct. With regards to social media, I'm going to take it from a different aspect. I'm going to talk to you about influencers because I'm not sure if the young lady was speaking about influencers because we find a lot of actors and presenters on TV theoretically become influencers because they've got this high volume of following. Keep your page clean. I know Althea said that. It is so, so important. I mean, we've read articles whereby because a certain actor or presenter, something happened on their social media page, they lose an endorsement deal. They lose other work. So keep your page clean and be very clear on what you're going to post. Almost have a strategy on the kind of work that you post. Be very clean and clear on Twitter. Twitter, for me, I'm even scared of Twitter, you know. So you need to make sure that whatever you put out, it does not negatively affect the brand. Theoretically, as a performer, you are building a brand. The Mary Ann Barlows, the Jamie Bartletts, the Florence Masebes, they are brands. They make sure that when it comes to the business of acting, we know only about their acting. We don't know how they live their personal lives. So as young people coming into the industry, be cognizant of the kind of things that you post. Be cognizant of your behavior offset. So you are a public figure. So once you are cast on a legacy, please God, when you go to Parkhurst for a lunch, you cannot drink copious amounts of alcohol, fall over, and not think that somebody's going to take a picture and post it. You are a living and walking brand of yourself, of the production that you're on, and of the production that you're on, of yourself, and of your agency. I always say to my actors that they are brand custodians of my agency. So when they go out to a particular production or when they go to a casting director and their appointment slot is 12 o'clock and they arrive there 10 to 12 and they know why they're there, what role they're there for, how they've styled themselves, it speaks volumes about how I, as an agent, has briefed them. So as young actors coming into our industry, it's so, so important to have a clear understanding of the brief. And if you feel that character does not resonate with you, don't be scared to turn back to your agent and say to them, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. It doesn't change your relationship with the agent. The trust element even gets stronger. So always know that there's value in relationships with your agent. There's nothing wrong with expanding your skill set. As Althea said, as long as your focus is still being an actress or an actor and you communicate with your agent. If you're directing, I have an artist in my book who's a director on a few soapies. She sends me her schedule. So I know when I can and cannot put her forward for other work. But she's still, her focus is still to be an actress. But she has expanded her skill set, and that is fantastic. Social media, keep it clean. And know that once you are cast on something, you are a walking, talking billboard. So the way you conduct yourself is imperative. Showreel material, a lot of self-tapes are being shot now during this COVID pandemic. So our phones are absolutely amazing. So just get how to shoot a showreel. I'm sure you can Google it on YouTube. How to shoot a nice self-tape, what is important in the self-tape, what is not important in the self-tape, and where you can learn to edit it to just make it cleaner and neater, go for it.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So many valuable things there. Also, the South African Guild of Actors has a portal that is full of really quality information and workshops and tutorials. So visit the South African Guild of Actors, and you'll get stuff there. Let me shift now to some money, guys. Althea, if you have another comment, you can start with that. But I want to talk about daily rates that people should expect. Like Zinzi was mentioning, some young kids signed contracts that, you know, they were on 1,000 Rand a day or 700 Rand a day or whatever. And then we can also talk about commission, which does sort of tie into what does your agent do. I'll throw it out to start, and then you guys, Althea, please expand on that. So there used to be a rate card on the South African Guild of Actors website that would say, like, a young actor with, 1 to 2 years experience can expect so much on a soap, on a TV series, on a local movie, on an international film, theater, etc. Then it also had rates, I think, for voiceovers. And then the commission that agents generally take, I'll let you guys talk about that, but and it'll kind of tie into sort of what your agent does and why they kind of take that kind of commission. Over to you, Althea, maybe.
Cool. So, so as agents, we have a minimum suggested rate card that we work according to. And there's so many aspects that goes into deciding what your rate should be for whatever contract you've been offered. So it's just so much information that I'm going to try and simplify it. So based on what you have been offered, your agent will have the conversation with you and say to you, okay, you've been offered 2 days in a support lead role, you have just graduated, you have no professional experience. So this is the bracket that I think you should be earning versus what they've offered you, okay? And it's important that you have that detailed conversation with your agent, because they will have knowledge around what the rate should be. Obviously, every broadcaster is so different, and it comes down to also the funding model of the production. If they're getting funds from SABC, or if it's a co-production with an international production house. So rates are, it really comes down to what the production is about, the role you've been offered, how many calls you've been offered, but your agent will have that knowledge. They will know what it should be in line with. So it's very important that you have that conversation with your agent, and your agent will explain to you what her or his reasoning is behind why they feel you should be getting X. As for commission structures, within the PMA, we have a suggested commission structure, anywhere between 10 and 20%. Some agents charge a set commission for everything. So some might say, I charge 15% commission on film and TV and commercials and everything. Some agents will say, oh, we charge 10% on film and TV and we charge 20% on commercials. You know, those are critical conversations to have with your agent at the time of joining. What is their commission structure? And if they charge different commissions for different types of jobs, have a clear conversation about that. The reason why we charge commission, ultimately, we're providing you with a service. And you know, we need to run a business, number one. We have to pay for internet, we have to pay for phones, we have to pay for laptops, we have to pay for people in the office, for a website. And you're also paying a commission for the knowledge that your agent has, the skill that your agent has. You know, you could be your own agent and not pay anybody a commission, but you don't have the skill set of negotiating. I've negotiated for the last 15 years with this specific client. I know how to work with this specific casting director. You're paying them a percentage for a service, and that service they are qualified and skilled in because of working in the industry for a specific time and working within an association like the PMA as well. There is obviously the standard 25% PAYE that you have to pay by law on all your contracts. Obviously, it just sometimes depends. If you're on a long-term soap contract, they might work on a different tax bracket. They might work on tax tables. But generally, there's the 25% PAYE that you have to pay by law. So your agent will explain their different commission structures, but within the PMA, our PMA agents do not charge more than 20%. Lisa?
I think, Althea, you summed it up quite nicely. I like that you brought the tax element into it, because sometimes when we give artists their rates, so hypothetically, let's say somebody is on 5,000 Rand per call, it's important that you know that that's the gross amount. So as an actor, you need to know that the commission that you have negotiated with your agent, whether it be 10%, 12%, 15% for the production per call, they take off that, and then you take off the 25%. For all the work that you do in this industry, I always encourage my actors to keep a spreadsheet. Keep a spreadsheet of the work that you do, be it voice work, commercials, and production work, so that you know when it comes to the end of a financial tax year, when you do your submission to SARS, you have to do your annual submission to SARS because it's going to come back and bite you. You can't think, well, I've just started working, I'm only earning X amount. No, every year you must submit to SARS. And sometimes with e-filing, I know that they ask the actors for certain IRP5s. So it's important that you keep a spreadsheet so you're able to say to your artists, oh, do you remember last year, April, when I was working on this production, please can I have that? When I was working on Seven Delan, please can I get that RP5 because it's not under my e-filing. So as agents, we're able to assist you to get that and to correlate that information. Another important aspect when we're talking about fees and rates, please know that your salary is between you and your agent. It's not for you to share with your colleagues on set. And if somebody turns around to you and they're saying they're earning 8,000 Rand a call, that's their business. However, also know that be cognizant of the fact that there's actors who are more established than you. And as Althea said, when you come in, we look at what you should be earning as a new graduate. There's people who have worked over the years and they get a rate that speaks to their resume, that speaks to their experience. The same way a chartered accountant gets an increase on an annual year, you as an actor will continue to grow. And that's the beauty about this industry, that your CV will speak to the rates that your agent tries to negotiate to the best of their ability. Just to backtrack, earlier on, Althea spoke to us about that as agents, we are facilitators. So we do not make a decision on your behalf. Numerous times actors will say, why did you accept this? It's a conversation. I would love you to earn more because the 12% commission I am charging, if it's 5,000 Rand, it's better than 3,000 Rand. So also remember that as your agent, we try to negotiate the best possible rate for you as our talent. Another important element, when you come off a production, make sure that you correlate your dates. Make sure that you update your agent weekly on what the dates were and send correct dates so that when we invoice, we can get paid on time so that we can pay you on time. An important thing for us as agents, we try and communicate with production to say, what are your payment terms? Are you paying us weekly? Are you paying us bi-weekly? Are you paying us monthly? So that we can communicate to you as our talent when you can expect payment. So those are the important things to remember about the value an agent gives you and why they charge a commission. And then there's actors, a colleague of mine in the industry was speaking the other day that they had an artist who had been getting bits and pieces of work and then suddenly got this nice big contract and said, oh, you finally earned your commission. As agents, we're continuously working for you. We're continuously marketing you. We're continuously putting you forward for roles. And sometimes you won't see that work immediately. But I'm a spiritual person. So I believe when you plant a seed, you water it, it grows, and you nurture it. So some people have beginner's luck in this industry. Some people get rejected for 12 months and then suddenly get a beautiful role. So you can't give up. You need to be persistent, but value the relationship you have with your agents, especially if they're putting you forward for as much as they possibly can. And where you feel that I'm not getting that work, equip them with more. Update your skill set, inform them, take more pictures so they have that versatile picture so they can put you forward for different types of roles. And try not to take work direct. I always say that to my artists, even those established ones, because if I'm marketing you for a TV production and then suddenly I phone you and you're like, I didn't tell you something, Lisa, I'm actually on Scandal. It conflicts with the current contracts. You signed that you're on a first call basis on Generation over this period of October to December, and suddenly there's a conflict. So let's work together as a team to make sure that whatever we're putting forward to clients is honest, is transparent, and we are clear on the rates that you have agreed to, that you know that whatever we discuss is confidential. Let's make sure that you get paid timelessly. Let's make sure that you inform me of what's going on set. If there's something that makes you feel uneasy, come and discuss it with me. Don't go discuss it with the producer directly, because we are here to be your mouthpiece and we are here to advise you and guide you so that we can equip you with more knowledge so that you understand as you grow as an actor where to go, how to conduct yourself.
I couldn't agree more, Lisa, about talking first to your agent about stuff, Yes, you work with people and it's good to build that relationship. Let's quickly just touch on the difference between first call basis, like you just mentioned. Now you're on first call on this. What does it mean to be a principal actor, support actor, just those standards? I don't know if, do you want to take that first, Zinzi? Or Lisa even, just the difference on what does it mean to be on a first call basis, as well as, the difference between principal actor and support.
Okay. Principal actors are your lead actors on productions. So they're contracted over a particular period of time. Let's say the production is a Netflix production. They're shooting over April to September. That actor they are on a first call basis to that particular production. However, we did say actors are freelancers. So they're shooting from April to August. So hypothetically speaking, there's a beautiful casting happening in July that I believe that my actress is right for. I will then put that actress forward for that, but I will communicate with the production house to say, listen, I want to put Sisanda forward for this role. This is when they start shooting. Then the production, once that person is confirmed for that role, I can then go and sign a contract as a second call basis, because both productions are aware that this actor or actress is on the Netflix production, which will wrap in September. However, they can then send us dates. They know that the first contract, the principal contract, has the first right of refusal to say, we need Sisanda on those dates. It's not going to work. However, we like to work in unison in our industry. And if I inform them that, listen, can Sisanda go and shoot last week of July because you guys are going to be wrapping soon? Can I have him for 3 dates? And then the second core basis contract will allow for us to request from the first. Am I explaining this correctly? Or am I confusing everybody?
No, you're doing fine.
Okay, all right. So I can request permission for you on those dates. And as long as I have it in writing and both parties are aware, then we're fine. And that's why it's also important to do everything through your agent, because they're able to maximize you to the best of their ability, but managing both schedules. Sisanda, I can't hear you. Pardon me.
Thank you. Alfie, did you have something to add to that? And Lee, are you standing by for us to just get us some questions from the chat box? Zinzi or Althea, did you have something to add there? No. Okay, good. Lee, can you share some questions that were put into the chat box? If Lee is there for us, I don't know if you're on mute, Lee, or if you're able to speak. Okay, in the meantime, while Lee's getting to that, just a reminder, there's an info pack that was put into the chat box, and just scroll up the chat box. You can download that PDF. Also, we'd love for you to please fill out the survey before we're done today. And we're going to take some questions where you just ask some questions or even share comment to the panel just now. So, Lee, are you there? If not, let me touch on social media really quickly. I mean, I've worked as a producer as well and as a director. And like the agents have said, it does make a difference. I've been in you are sitting with the commissioning editor and channel, and there's a decision to be made between 2 or 3 actresses, right, to play the lead role. People in the business, incorrect or not correct, they believe in the followers. But like they said, your talent has to be there. So people these days talk about influencers versus the professional actor, right? So because some people are influencers first before they're professional actors. And then the influencer goes for the audition and the professional actor is also there. Now the channel wants to make a decision, because Netflix actually makes a decision, not just the director. The board, Mnet, will make a decision. SABC, the commissioning editors, will look and say, okay, this is our short list, and for this role. And basically what I'm trying to say is, in some cases, they do look at the followers. Whether we like that or not, I'm just being honest, sometimes that is based on it. And sometimes it just depends on who the commissioning editor is. And sometimes they don't care. They're like, this guy is really, really good for the role. And that's that. So in terms of networking, I saw a question. Networking is like, this is it. So if you join the South African Guild of Actors on Facebook, And, there'll be lots of different workshops being offered there. That's how you meet people, and you connect in the industry. And a lot of times that's where you hear about these kind of workshops. Actor Spaces, you might know of them. They also offer a bunch of professional workshops as well. That's also a really good place for you to be, to learn these things. So that's all good. Okay, why do ethical producers like to work with agents rather than going directly with actors?
I think all of the reasons, I think we have listed some of those reasons. I mean, first and foremost, when you go to an agency like for instance, a PMA agent, you know that where you're going to be dealing with people who are professional actors, people who've either studied or trained the profession, people with experience. Number one, the kind of talent that you're going to get, you know that you're going to get the correct talent when you go to a professional agency. Number two, I think just the relationship and the communication and many of the things that we've mentioned. It's easier to have a conversation about contracts, about money, etc., with an agent who has an understanding of the industry, as opposed to chatting to an actor who really has perhaps no specific understanding or a point of negotiation. I just think it's easier to have a facilitator as well in terms of the relationship between production and actor, because it's easier when there's issues for a producer to come to me and say, look, I'm having a bit of an issue with your talent. Can you perhaps speak to them, or if there's any issues on set, etc., as opposed to going directly to the actor, because that kind of makes the working relationship on set a little bit more difficult. So should there be issues on set or issues with talent, it's easier to have the agent kind of facilitate that relationship. I'm sure the others can add.
Thank you, Zinzi. Lisa?
I'd like to just add decorum. So you remember earlier on I spoke about that actors theoretically are our walking, talking billboards as agents. So if a production house has worked with a particular PMA agent, they know how the actors, majority of those actors, conduct themselves. If there are issues, they're able to weed them out. An agent has a personal relationship with their talent. So if there's a certain conduct or the artist is not, like the manner in which they're conducting themselves may just need to be aligned, the producer prefers to be able to speak to that agency. And that's the importance of having an agency, because there's sometimes difficult conversations. So the manner in which the producer will inform us as an agent about the hiccups or the challenges, we will not break what needs to be said, but the manner in which we speak to you as Sisanda, the manner in which I speak to Zinzi will be different, because I know your personality traits. So I know how to get that important message across to you to ensure that you conduct yourself accordingly, or you prepare better, or whatever the struggles may be. I'm able to guide you so that you carry out what you contractually have been contracted to do. Another thing, actors, sometimes when they start to grow in our industry and become personalities, they get other gigs, they get MC opportunities, which is very exciting, but it's important that they communicate that through the agent. So if somebody doesn't tell me that they've got an MC gig in KZN and they expected it on sets on Friday the 24th, being Heritage Day, in our industry, we work. Most productions actually shoot on a public holiday. So if my artist is naughty and then disappears, it's easier for that producer to phone me and say, where is Jane? She should be here. And then I find out from Jane, and I'm able to apologize. I'm able to remind Jane of their contractual obligation. And I'm able to educate the artist to say, you don't conduct yourself like that. Yes, you love to get spin-off work. It's fantastic to take spin-off work. But we ask and we request timeously, because productions don't have a problem with artists getting work, but they do have a problem when it implicates the shooting schedule. So agents are the way to go, and we build relationships over the years. And it's important to always remember, when you join an agency, it's an honor to be part of that agency, and fly the flag high for that agent so that you have a great relationship, but you know that the other fellow actors who come from the same pool and the same umbrella as you make them feel proud so that they too can get opportunities.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, we will take some questions, so you can start raising your electronic hand to now respond to some questions we've got from the chat box, Zinzi, Lisa. Right, Patricia asked, how do you know which agent is the right fit for you? I want to first quickly just chime in there, Patricia, a very good question. from the actor's perspective, sometimes you do need, I think, to do chemistry meetings with your agents, different agents. And even if you meet 2 or 3 or 4 people, till you find the agent that is the right fit for you, and it's like dating, man. You will know. You will just, somewhere here, you'll know, like, if you feel like, I want to kiss this guy on the first date, you kind of just know. No one really says, Bethany is laughing. And I feel like that's how you know, because I like it when it's a sort of a long-term relationship. I'm going to pass on to you, agents, to also talk about what advice you give to the actor to find the right fit. But part 2 of Patricia's question was, how do you know when it's time to leave your agent? Now, this one is a little bit of in my view as an actor, there's just been so many things that over the years my agent has learned about me and I've learned about her. Or in fact, in our agency, there's like 4 people that will represent you. And like one of the agents will take care of your commercials. The other one will take care of your movies and series. The other agent will look after all your deals and stuff. So to go rebuild somewhere else, I just feel like if it's really can work, then make it work. But because sometimes, and to be honest, like the agents were saying, the agent doesn't get you the work. They can facilitate the opportunity, but you get your own work. So and every job you do is almost like an audition for your next job, right? So, because sometimes people will see you in a particular movie or series and then ask for you to come and audition for something else. So that wasn't your agent, that's you. You did that. And so, in terms of time, like I would rather try to make it work. And then if you really can't, in terms of when it's time to move, I also feel like you will know. But over to you, agents. How do you know, what advice do you give for an actor to find the right fit and this breakup situation? How do you handle that?
So
okay, Althea, go for it. I'll jump in after you.
Okay, cool. So I like what you said, Sasanda, because that's the advice that I give to a lot of young graduates is go see as many agents as possible. If you've been approached by 4 or 5, go have a meeting with each and every one of them and ask them all the same questions. Ultimately, it's going to come down to the chemistry you feel with a person. As PMA agents, we all pretty much do the same job, but we have different personalities. We have slightly different approaches. I think it's also very important to be clear that, like Lisa mentioned earlier, if you are a musical theatre trained artist and you specifically want to go into musical theatre, but you do want to do film, TV commercials as well, obviously make sure the agent that you're meeting with offers those opportunities. But see as many agents as possible. Ask as many questions as possible. And then at the end of the day, sit with all the various options and decide based on who you felt the best connection with, because this is somebody that you are going to hopefully build a relationship with for a very, 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 very long time. So you need to feel that I feel safe with this person. I feel this person understands what I want to do and what my goals are for my career. And I feel like we could walk a long journey together. Regarding when it's time to leave your agency, again, it's a relationship. It's the same like a relationship with anybody else in your life, whether it's a husband, wife, friend, communication. You need to communicate. And the reality of the industry is that we go through phases when it's quiet, when there's no briefs happening. And if there's no briefs coming my way, it's very hard for me to do my job as an agent, right? So what might happen sometimes is that the actor's sitting at home, they're feeling upset, they're depressed, there's been no auditions for a long time. You start building up these thoughts in your head going, is my agent putting me forward? What if they got the brief and they never submitted me? This one is working in the agency all the time. Maybe they're only submitting that actor. Again, communication. You have to speak to your agent. Ultimately, it's your career. So pick up the phone or send an email and go, Althea, I haven't had an audition for the last 3 weeks. What's going on? 9 out of 10 times your agent will pick up the phone and update you. I love picking up the phone and giving an update, especially when it is quiet. And when it's quiet, don't think your agent is sitting in the office just waiting. We are on the phone. We are on the emails. We are finding out, guys, what's happening. Bodily Bowman, you've been quiet. What do you have coming in? So when it is quiet, we are also trying to find out what is happening, who's sending briefs soon. So communicate. 9 out of 10 times, you can fix the situation. You can figure out a solution around whatever it is that you're unhappy with your agent. You know, I often say to artists, if artists approach me from other agents, I'll always ask them, have you had a conversation with your agent? Have you sat down and have you aired out all your concerns? And 9 out of 10 times they haven't. They just feel, you know what, it's not working. I haven't heard from Althea. I'm just going to move on. And I will always advise them, no. Go and have a conversation, share your feelings, tell them what you want to do. And 9 out of 10 times they end up emailing me back and going, thank you so much for the advice. I've decided to stay. We found a way forward. Everything will always come back to communication. Obviously, if you feel like it's still not working and you have given it a chance, you've spoken openly, you still don't feel unhappy, then you know, if you feel it's time, have that conversation with your agent and say, I feel it's time based on these reasons. It's important that, you know, should you make that decision to walk away, that there is a very good understanding, because I will always phone that agent. I will phone that agent and try and find out, you know, what happened, because it could also be that the artist misbehaved on set and the agent has now reprimanded the artist, and the artist decided, you don't have the right to reprimand me, I'm moving on. And I've had that before, and when I speak to the ex-agent, it's for me then a red flag that no, this artist is difficult and this artist has caused problems on production and that's where they want to leave, so therefore I'm not interested in signing this actor. So I think the critical advice that I'm trying to give is that you've got to have that conversation. Like you have to have communication in a marriage. It's the same thing with your agent. There's got to be clear communication on what they're doing and what they know is happening in industry and what your problems are or your issues or your concerns.
Very good, Althea. Do you want to go straight on, Zinzi or Lisa? We can't hear you, Lisa. Okay, now we can. Yeah, go ahead. Something, your sound is muffled. Something is covering your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's clear.
Fantastic. So I like what Althea said, and I agree 100% with what she said. As new graduates, when you're invited by several agents to come in to have a chat with them, you've got to find a place that feels like home. This relationship is not we are not labor brokers. We are not a recruitment company that's just going to place you somewhere. It's a relationship that's based on a lot of conversations, a lot of emotions, a lot of sharing. So if perhaps your personality doesn't resonate with me, you felt that I'm not able to say certain things to Lisa, I'm not going to be the right fit for you, because you have to be able to say a lot of stuff to your agent, you know, in a respectful manner. You have to be able to share different challenges, personal challenges that you may be going through. So it's important to find an agent that feels like home. And then there's something else that Althea said about, pardon me, I lost my thoughts of trail. Oh, yes. When you leave, what do we find when actors come and see us and saying, hypothetically, they want to leave another agent, they want to leave Gainors, they want to join Legends, and I ask them, what are the problems? The problems are things that I cannot fix. Like if you're on a commercial, it takes 3 months to be paid in our industry. As the PMA, we're constantly trying to change that. We'd love for the commercials to pay quicker, or a production perhaps has payment terms where we have to invoice before the 15th, otherwise it falls into the following month. So that's why it's important to communicate with your agent. Don't just see certain things as in that agent is the only one that's doing that. Ask, have an open conversation, set up a meeting. Perhaps you're quite shy and you feel that when you try and say certain things over the phone, it's not landing appropriately. Sit with your agent, talk to your agent. Also understand that sometimes we're bound by certain things in our industry. It's not that Lisa went and didn't invoice timeously. Remember, I earn my income through you as my actor. So it's of value to me to make sure that I invoice timeously. It's of value to me to follow up on outstanding invoices and make sure that you're paid timeously. So don't just assume things. Talk about it. And I always constantly have to remind my actors that we're on the same team. I'm not your enemy. And when a producer phones me to complain about something and I have to address it with you, I'm not addressing it to put you down or to scold you. I'm reminding you of how you should conduct yourself, of what is right and what won't work. The last thing you want as an actor is to be known as somebody who's difficult to work with. Always take a keen interest, always be a pleasure to work with. And as you are blessed with work and this brand grows, don't let it get to your head. You're as good as the last production that you were on. And remember that everybody in our industry is a freelancer, from the cameraman, from the casting director, from the driver. So when they see a director and the production crew watching videotapes and seeing who they want to shortlist, the worst thing that can happen to you is for somebody to say, oh my goodness, she's so impossible to work with. She never learns her lines. Because immediately that's a red flag. They're not going to cast you. So if you're a pleasure to work with, you take direction well, and you're professional, of course people will always want to work with you. Of course, when a producer moves to another production, they're going to think of you, especially if you're talented. So always seek to put out your best foot and conduct yourself in a professional manner. I always say, speak to people the way you want to be spoken to. And when you're angry, go to your agent. Don't just say certain things to people or your peers. Go to your agent. That is your safe space. And that's why it's also important to find an agent that feels like family, that feels like home.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So I've got another question here from Azi that was in the chat box. He says he didn't study, so no degree. A, are you guys open to take them on? And then B, how do they build a resume? Let me quickly, just from an actor's perspective, Azi, I was also in that position without a degree, and I still needed an agent. So what did I do as an actor? Even like now what they said, I just started doing stuff that I could show them. So now you don't even need to have a job you can shoot stuff that makes up your show reel. That then can show them if there's something there, And even if that's being looked at by a casting director or by a production, that's where you start, so that, don't feel like just because you don't have a degree, you can't do it. Yes, you should do it, and that's how you'll be able to start building your resume. But I want to give you, agents, 2 more questions. Just back to the contracts. Now, if you are leaving your agent, is the contract flexible enough that I can now cancel my contract with Star Quality and say, okay, I'm leaving Star Quality, I'm now going to Legends? This question is from Onati. Is that contract flexible enough? Go ahead, guys.
Okay, right. The first question being, if I haven't studied, can I join an agency? There are a lot of people who are on my books who haven't studied, for instance, who don't have a degree, but they have a natural talent. There are some people who just have this innate thing about them. They'll come in, they'll audition, we'll see that and we'll go, oh, fantastic. However, I do always encourage, try and do something. Do a workshop, there are courses, there's online stuff. You've got to try and build your craft. I believe that you should never, as an actor, be at a point where you think you have arrived and you know it all. You should constantly be working on your craft at all times. So whatever opportunities there are, when there are webinars, when there's sessions, when there's all these different things that are available, perhaps if you can't afford to pay for a course, take those opportunities, learn, grow, because as an actor, you have to constantly be working on your craft and building yourself. So I think those things are incredibly important. And I always say that, we're the industry, obviously, where it's very easy to kind of come in. If you're a doctor, you have to study, you have to have a medical degree to say, I'm a doctor, or et cetera, et cetera. But we as actors sometimes just kind of take it for granted that we should always be working on our craft. When you're on set, you can learn from other actors as well. I think it's very important to always give yourself that opportunity to learn. about the contract with an agent. So you'll sign a contract with an agency, and if you want to leave, as everyone else has said, it's a conversation that's had. Discuss it, go to your agent, sit down, have a conversation. If you guys can't work things out, then obviously you can leave. However, there are certain terms, for instance, let's say during the duration of your contract, I have now gotten you a contract with Generations, and I'm the one who facilitated that contract with you. If you decide to leave, that's fine. However, during that specific period, that contract would then remain with us in terms of us invoicing, etc., etc. There are certain jobs that will remain with the agent even if you leave. You can't just be like, oh, well, now that I've got Generations by agent, thanks for the work, and, you know, that's it. So in those circumstances, yes, you can leave your agency after a proper conversation. As Lisa said as well, be decent, because we will always meet in the industry at some point. You know, I think I look at talent that comes to me and badmouths Lisa or an Althea, and I'm going, which means you probably will do that with me. I think when you come to a new agent, come with, look, I've left Legends, I'd like to start a new thing. Yes, there were issues here and there, but don't badmouth other agencies, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm also looking at you and going, okay, if that's how you're talking about Lisa, who we all know and we all work together in this industry, just have a certain decorum and certain level of professionalism when you leave an agency. Because yes, relationships end and you want to, you know, things change in the process, and that's fine, but always be polite. I mean, I've had people leave and come back, or somebody might even come, you know, that happens to us all the time. Somebody will leave, go join another agency, and then realize, as Lisa said, that didn't feel like home, and come back to home, you know. And we're always willing for those opportunities to happen, but it depends on how you leave. So, you know, be very careful about how you leave an agency. Just be polite, have a great conversation. We'll wish you well. Of course, we'll never tie you into a contract. You have to stay with us. No, you can always leave, but just be polite about it.
Okay, fantastic. I can see Richard, Dumi, Yanina, Bayman, you guys got your digital hands up to ask some questions. We're coming to you now. I just want to take two more that were in the chat box. Unkhopota said, is the PMA a mediator between the agent and the actor? And my understanding, Althea, you'll clear it up, or Lisa, the PMA is not that. It's an association of personal managers, which is basically professional agents. But the Guild of Actors, and I think Tan put the website there in the chat box, SA Guild of Actors. Now that's almost like a union for actors, right? So they will have standardized sort of, not just a rate card, but to give you a benchmark for the rate card you can expect from a production, but also they can kind of give you a benchmark of what you can expect the agency to demand in terms of commission rates. So I'm jumping quickly to another question at the bottom here. Tejo asked if Star Quality offers acting lessons, and I'll let Zinzi answer that, but definitely like what she mentioned, the Guild of Actors does offer a whole lot of sort of online lessons and stuff. Shout out, I've got acting lessons coming up this afternoon from Drama Tech. You know, different coaches coach on different things. I have a different coach for accents. This other coach I'm working with for the first time now, because I want to just learn new and other techniques for, you know, something else I'm trying to get. So you're right, Zinzi, you never arrive. You're like, you win an award or not win an award. You can always learn and grow and expand. So just quickly to that question on the PMA being a mediator, I've shared my understanding, but if you can maybe clear that up, that's from Nkhupuze. And I know we're almost running out of time, guys. I want to just ask if we can just add just another 12 minutes or so, because I definitely want to take all of these questions that have been put up, and I want to go as quickly as we can. Or Lisa or Althea.
So no, the PMA is not necessarily a mediator between agent, artists, and the PMA. So it will always be your agent negotiating for you, right? It will always be your agent handling the contract. However, you know, should we have a specific issue on a specific production, or let's say, for example, they haven't met the payment terms, it's now 3 weeks after the payment terms, then as an association, we'll find out who of our members has the same issue, and our chairperson will then approach the production on our behalf. So if there's any contractual issues that as individual members of the association we are facing, that's when we will approach the production as a collective. The PMA will also, again, as a collective, and that's between our members and sister associations, like, for example, Saga. We might have a collective conversation around what are the minimum fees for actors in the specific, broken down the specific way. So what is the minimum we'd expect for somebody on a film who's got no experience or 0 to 3 years experience? And these are all minimums. I have to emphasize, minimum means we would not want you to earn under a certain amount. However, there's always a negotiation, for above that minimum. I hope that clears that question.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the digital hands. Is it Richard or Richard? Richard.
Yeah, it's Richard. I just want to go back to the relationship between the actor and his agent. Can it happen that when you get an audition and you have to shoot a self-tape and you send it through to your agent, that your agent take that self-tape, look at it, and maybe give you feedback on your own self-tape as well? Or will it not really happen?
Good, thank you. That's noted. Tumi.
Okay, so also what I also wanted to learn about when the actor is growing within the agency, like learning and going through some sort of workshops. I just want to know how can an actor grow within the agency, not just being by being an actor and doing other things as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope agents, you guys are noting those questions. You don't have to answer all of them. You can pick the ones you want. Janina, I think. Wostadowski. Okay, right.
So I noticed on a few, when I was applying to a few different agencies, that some of them required either 3 years of professional experience or you to have done 3 years of university. Now, I'm almost at the end of my 3rd year, and I want to know, like, should I start applying now, that because I have 1 year of university left after that 3rd year? Should I start applying, or should I wait till I'm completely done with my degree to apply to agencies again? And I mentioned it in the chat as well, but when we are applying, if we have a YouTube channel, would it be a good idea to include that maybe instead of a self-tape, or to maybe include both, kind of thing?
Yes, include your YouTube channel. Apply now. Next, payment.
Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to find out, like, if you're looking for freelance work, is it reasonable or, proper for getting the agent on board? Because now, it gets to the whole negotiation process where there needs to be understanding between the client and the artist. But now some artists can be arrogant. Is it reasonable or advisable to get the agent on board? Thank you.
Yes, I'll answer that really quickly. So if there's a job opportunity, somebody makes you an offer for production, give it to your agent. They'll take it on and do the negotiations going forward. Even if it's just a Mzansi Magic movie, they say, okay, hey, we'd like you to perform. Say, this is my agent's email and phone number, or you exchange them, and then let the agent do the negotiation. Does that make sense? Luto.
Hello again. Janina mentioned my first question, but the second one was, so earlier Ms. Zinzi said you must look presentable, your dress code matters. So my question is, I get an audition and probably the agency is interested in me. So I dress up some sort of informal way, and then does that have an influence on how they now see me as an actor, or can that influence their decision to take me? Is how I'm dressed that day. Maybe they were influenced to take me by my audition, and then I rock up, I am dressed somehow, and then now they're like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Does that
So
happen?
take a chance. I won't even let the agents answer that. Don't take a chance on misrepresenting yourself. Just dress proper. Be the Hollywood star now. Now, every day, when they see you, that's what you are. Simple. Okay, let's quickly answer those three other questions that came back. Feedback from your agent on your audition tape, and there were two others. Anyone?
Cool. I'll take the feedback on your audition tape question. So when a self-tape audition is sent through to the actor, the casting director might have specific requirements for the self-tape. So they might ask you, they will give you instructions on how to do your slate, which is your introduction. They'll give you instructions on how many scenes they'd like you to record. So often as agents, we'll check that. We'll check, have you submitted your slate? Have you recorded your slate correctly? So just a quick example, for film and TV, they don't want to see your hands. They don't want to necessarily see your profiles. That's appropriate for a commercial casting. So we'll check that, because if you have shown your hands in the casting and in the slate, and the TV client specifically said they did not want to see that, we then have to feedback to you and say, listen, you've recorded your slate completely wrong, or you haven't recorded 3 scenes. They specifically asked you to record 3 scenes, or they have specifically said the size of your scenes needs to be it can't be more than X amount. Now you've sent me 1 gigabyte scenes. I can't send that through to the client. So yes, we might check that. As for giving you performance feedback, I mean, if I see something that's obviously very wrong in the performance, and the person has done a theatrical performance for a TV audition, I might give that feedback to the artist and say, you've shown your performance is way too big. I am not the casting director though. I am the agent. So I will always watch everything that you have submitted, and I will try to ensure that it is as per the requirements of what the casting director has asked for. And it's very important, because the casting director will then come back to me and say, Althea, but this artist has showed me their hands and they've done their profiles. I'm not sending it through to the producer. So yes, your agent needs to watch your self-tapes to ensure that when they submit it, it is according to what the casting director has asked for.
Thank you, Althea. Zinzi or Lisa, the other questions?
I'm going to answer the question about growing within your agent. I think it's important, as we've spoken throughout this conversation, about upskill, learn something new, grow, even if you know that you're doing it, get better, improve on it. So it's important that you communicate that to your agent. And if you shoot a new monologue just to show this is the new skill I've learned, I think I'm a better performer now, it's important to share that so that we can visually see that you have grown and improved and you've learned new technicalities, you've learned a new accent. We want to see you grow, and we need to be informed about what your new developments are so that we can put you forward for different types of roles. With regards, I'm just also going to touch on the self-tape element. If you're a new artist on my books, and especially the young ones, I watch your self-tapes because I need to make sure that you've interpreted the brief correctly. Because you're not sure, so just that extra bit of guidance to make sure that you interpreted the brief and that you read the self-tape guidelines and you've applied that. Apply now when you're in your 3rd year of varsity. I think that's great. I've got people who are in their 3rd year, but what's very key to me is that we don't muddle things up. You need to finish on a high, you need to pass. If there's small roles, if it's commercials, we can take those opportunities, but you need to take responsibility and share your exam dates. You need to make sure that this doesn't conflict with lectures, and you need to communicate constantly to make sure that you're going to go to the acting audition that we've secured that time for, and that you're definitely available for the shoot date. So there's nothing wrong with getting an agent when you're in your 3rd year. I think it's a fantastic time, but be clear and transparent and share your calendar of when your exams are so that it doesn't conflict. I think that's it from our side.
Thank you. Zinzi, do you have something? Okay, you're on mute, but last few questions. Firstly, Taryn, just when we wrap up, please explain where the recording will be available. I know some recordings are on the South African Guild SA Guild of Actors website. This might be as well because the Guild is on here helping us to host. So I think that's where the recording will be, but Taryn from the PMA will clarify that. I have a question here from Tandile. 2 questions. Teaching about financial health to actors, because a lot of actors, go broke. And does the industry have space for mature actors? I'll answer just from the perspective quickly as a director or producer. I mean, there's always room for mature actors. Even if the role is 55-year-old, 65-year-old, there's always room, and people need to audition and get them in. So I know when I'm directing or producing and I'm working on a project, there's, people are looking for that. And it's true, like the financial health is a very important thing. I'll even share this, like actor to actor. If you have other means of earning an income, do it. Keep it. Because it makes life a little easier when you're not both desperate for money and acting work. Because look, it's an art and it's self-expression, so if money is not a problem, it helps if you have something else, and balance that out. And then your acting is not, because I think you bring a different energy as well when that isn't an issue in your life. So financial health and understanding living within the means and your means is all very important. But yes, there are workshops. I know Saga does offer those kind of workshops. Yes, over to my agents. And I've got 3 more hands, yeah. Agents, if you have anything, please share. Otherwise, I'll go to the last 3 hands there. Nothing. Okay, Zinzi, shall we move on? You're on mute. Okay, we're wrapping up, guys. Last 3 people, Palisa, Patricia, and Olwetu. Go ahead. Go ahead, Palisa.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to know, because like I see sometimes on Instagram, there's like short films and a national film festival. I just wanted to know if you need an agent to be part of like the short films for people who are aspiring producers, directors, just so you can grow. Do you need like an agency to be part of a short film, like in order to know for the auditions? Thank you.
In my understanding, quick answer, if they don't have a budget, they do that informally. And then they ask people on Facebook and they ask friends for favors. And sometimes you don't need an agent for that. Like maybe your agent can help you with a contract. Like if it becomes big, then they can give you advice. But generally, if it's non-paying, I don't think agents do take that on because there's no commission. It's not professional. Okay. Patricia.
Okay, thank you.
Hi again. I wanted to ask about international work. Do I need an agent from New York, for example, in order to work there? Or are the South African agencies, how accessible are they to international auditions?
Thank you. Olwetu.
Hi. So when you get called back, like after an audition, should I get excited like that's the final one, like I'm the chosen one, or is it like a shortlist callback? Should I prepare another monologue, or do I go back to like do the same thing?
Thank you, Olwetu. Very clear. Let's answer these really quickly, Althea or Lisa or Zinzi. And
so I'll just speak to the international work opportunity. So yes, there is international work opportunity here in South Africa. We have a lot of international productions that will come shoot in Cape Town or Johannesburg or Durban, and then they will send a brief out to the agents in South Africa. South Africa is a very popular international destination. However, should you start building a big CV for yourself and you've gained quite a bit of experience and you maybe decide, you know what, I really want to give LA a go, then in that case, you might get an international agent to give you access to work that is available in the States that we don't necessarily shoot here or audition here. However, what is exciting is that the industry is growing globally. So, I mean, I have a number of actors who are based here and have LA representation and audition for stuff in the States from South Africa. But we get a lot of international work in South Africa. There's a lot of work. Netflix has come and shot a lot of stuff, and they're still doing more stuff in South Africa. So you will have international opportunity from South Africa.
Thank you. Callbacks. Zinzi or Lisa?
Okay. So a callback is exactly just that. You are being called back, shortlisted because the director or the producer might be interested in you, but no, it does not mean that you have secured the job. I mean, of course, you can be excited about it, but there's still a process, there's still work to be done. So a callback purely means that they've seen potential, there's something there, they'd like to work with you a little bit more, but it obviously doesn't mean that that's a guarantee that you're going to book the job. So yeah, callback just merely means they want to see more. they might want to try you with different actors. They might want to place you with different people and see if, the whole scenario works. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to get the job, because there'll be several other people also getting a call back besides yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to hand over to Lee in a moment, but Lee, my last parting shot, guys, we've gone over for a couple of minutes, but thank you for staying. To wrap up, thank you to the panelists. Thank you to the PMA, the Personal Management Association. Saga is also supporting this session behind the scenes, so do join the Guild of Actors. Go on to the Saga website, because that's really, really good, guys. Like it's so helpful to be part of that. So the sponsors of this session is the South African Screen Sector Support Fund. If somebody's mic is on. Whose mic is on? Okay. So thank you to the South African Screen Sector Support Fund, and also thank you to SASFED. And Chikuluku Trust, they are the ones who administered the fund, which at some point Netflix had contributed to. And again, a huge thank you to our panelists. Lee, over to you.
Thank you, Sisanda. I hope my sound is sorted now. I apologize for earlier on. Thank you so much to you as well. You obviously weren't going to thank yourself, but thank you very much to you. You've done a fantastic job. I think it was really just such a wonderful, informative session. Thank you to our panelists. Just as a parting shot to advise all our attendees, that link, the recording, will be available in about a week's time on pma.co.za. Also on the SA Guild of Actors.org.za website.
Lisa, Althea, and Zinzi, any parting shots, guys?
Very quickly, thank you to everybody. The last thing I want to say to all the young performers here is remember communication, be open and honest with your agent, have a very clear understanding of what it is that they offer, what their contract says, and what your expectation is. But communication, that is the foundation.
Thank you so much. Lisa or Zinzi?
Thank you so much to the PMA for organizing this. Thank you, Sisanda, for facilitating. You've been a fantastic facilitator. Thank you to everybody who joined in. Find an agent that you resonate with. Always upskill yourself. Never stay stagnant. Learn, even on set. Learn. And wishing you everything of the best. Our industry is growing. It's a very exciting times that we're in. And wishing you everything of the best. God bless.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say I'm very excited that there's so many young people on this platform, because it shows that you guys are willing to learn, that you guys are interested in actually understanding the industry, which is the first step. So you guys are on the right track. As everyone has said, do your research, before you approach somebody, find the right agent, find somebody that resonates with you as well. And it's a long road ahead, guys. It's a difficult industry, but if you're passionate and you love it, you'll keep working at it, and eventually that big break will come. And good luck to all of you. And yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you all. And that's it. We'll leave it open just for a few minutes so you can get those links. But otherwise, keep doing it. We'll see you on the big screen or on stage. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.